Hello everybody. Today I'm going to give you the most controversial writing advice you've ever watched on video, and I know many of you will be very outraged with my very preposterous proposition, but stick to the ending because I'll try to explain why I believe something so radical and so shocking, but you have to listen to that. Honestly, I think every writer should hear this advice, my arguments about it, and decide from themselves if they want to follow it or not. But my one controversial piece of writing advice is writers get out of the house, assuming it is safe to, because the past year I have been in a writing slump, and one of the reasons I've been that way is probably because I couldn't get out of the house due to, but then again, I'm a rare breed. I'm what some people would call an extroverted author. Because yes, we exist, and writing streams can sometimes leverage this my need to interact with people while writing, because I'm a pervert. But writing streams seldom accommodate my time zone. My schedule was not as flexible also this year for other reasons. But yeah, I need to get out of the house and meet people to re-energize, and I didn't have many opportunities the past year. I need that to relieve stress and get ideas, because let's be honest, staying at home and writing all day is not healthy. It's not healthy for the body, and it's not healthy for the mind. I was told an anecdote, and I was very sad to hear that. There used to be a very prolific indie author on certain writer groups that had huge success. They went full time because of their hustle, because they were writing a lot of books every month, and they were like, wow. And then they went on a convention and they had a very embarrassing episode because of the stress of staying at home all day and writing like it wasn't tomorrow. We're on YouTube, and probably you say that after some time, a YouTuber you watch went full time, they start to get a big Yahoo in their videos. They get annoyed by silly stuff. They will chimp out about something that no normal person would do, and they'll go into a lot of petty drama. Because that's the platform is the world. They will get out of the house to work, and getting out of the house is keeping you grounded. And this is just the literal part of the advice, because there is a metaphorical layer to it, right? I really love when I listen to famous authors, or any author, saying an anecdote about how they came up with an idea, how some lived experience they have has saved their work, and it's always fascinating. Stephen King. I'm not a huge fan of Stephen King, and I read horror, but he's not exactly what I want to read a lot of times. But when I was reading his own writing, I could respect both his amazing talent at relaying stories. He has this way of making you live the story he's narrating, right? He's a great author, but he was narrating how he came up with Carrie, how he came up with Pet Sematary, and it was really interesting how I was there and I saw that, and what if? And that's fascinating. And yeah, lived experience is very important. I was writing a novel at some point, and I felt I was missing something, and somewhere halfway through I understood that it lacked an emotional core, something that could make my main character and the other characters relate to the reader and to me. So what started us off as a story of a future cop fighting bad guys, it became the story of some people caught in a very shitty job. And you know what? I have done that, and most of you probably have done that. If you haven't been in a city job, you're very lucky. But this is what connected me to the story. This is something that energized me, and I believe that when it's ready and you read it, it will connect in some way to you. I have to go back and edit a lot of this into the story, and then have a progression of the themes, because I want to finish at least 2 sequels before I publish it. So yeah, look at your stories and see how they relate to you, to your experience, to your life. What happened and you had this idea, or the same for the stories you've read. What aspect of it does relate to you? What does resonate to you? What you feel like you've done and you want that speaks to you, and also how you can leverage that. There are some themes that are very common, and they're common because a lot of people have this experience and they can resonate with that. I mean, just imagine. Alright, some people will be enraged with that, less than those enraged by my proposal that you should get out of the house. But yeah, Harry Potter ties to this idea that one day you'll receive a letter that invites to the world of magic, and it's something all kids want at some point. That's why it's a bestseller, because of this simple idea of my life sucks, but there's a magical life out there where I find friends, family, and a purpose. That's universal, and that's why J.K. Rowling made all those billions. Then she has some very universal ideas, but what can I say? I mean, the woman had a lot of dumb takes in her life. And speaking of dumb takes, I see a lot of modern works, and they just feel bland. They feel formulaic, tropey, or forcing subversion, and they're tropey and subverting tropes in an inorganic way, or maybe they just focus on some inside joke or some internet meme way beyond it being an Easter egg or something. And you can see that in more serialized forms of entertainment. You can see that in TV shows, you can see that in comics, maybe in movies. And you know what, I feel that maybe in books, but I don't read that many modern books, so I cannot say yes, this is happening. But a lot of the books I see are just not relating to me. And I get the idea that the people writing these works never get out of the house. It feels like a lot of entertainment is written by people who only know life through books or through social media. And if your entire writing life is, being on Twitter and talking to other writers on Twitter, then your audience ends up being other writers on Twitter, maybe the agents you follow and you interact with, and maybe if you resonate with some agents, you'll get your book out there. But this book will probably resonate with the writers, or with agents, or with book Twitter people or booktube people, not with your average Joe and your average Zane that buy their books for some leisure reading or some entertainment. It's not relating to them. It's about what hashtag was on when you started writing the book. Odds are your co-reader is not on Twitter, or they have forgotten that hashtag, or just I say Twitter because I hate Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. The link is below. We can hate Twitter together. Yeah, I hate Twitter. I can see that. Or you know what? I go on Facebook groups because I'm old and I still use Facebook, and my job has a lot to do with using Facebook, and to think of it. And I see other groups where people are like, why would my character do something very crucial for the plot that relates to the premise, and how that it will make sense for an ending I want to find out. And I'm like, dude, I won't write the book for you. If you cannot come up with an idea why this is happening, you shouldn't write it. You should brainstorm it. You should learn to think about, plot about, get out of the house, go for a walk, and maybe it'll come. Oftentimes, an idea comes to me. I mean, I was talking about sequels from my book, and I had a lot of doubts about how book 3 would relate to books 1 and 2. And I was on a walk a couple of weeks ago, and damn, it hit me. It was obvious, it made sense. But I know how it relates to those two books right now, and I can write it when I get out of the house long enough to energize myself, alright? So yeah, that's go out of the house, or you know what, try to think, how can I relate to this as a person? What if that person is like my boss, or my supervisor, or my colleagues, or I don't know, a person I saw on the street, or somebody I knew from high school. What if this character is like that? One of my favorite authors is Ketchum, and he has a book called The Lost, which I have not reviewed on this channel, and was actually one of the best movie adaptation of. It has a very faithful movie adaptation, and it's about a very insecure man who has a lot of anger issues. And I read the book, and then I was hanging out with some people at the point back a decade ago and something, and there was this guy in the group that at some point was like that. I mean, I could definitely see the villain of the book who was doing some nasty stuff in a person, and I believe it was for similar reasons. I never got very deep into that, and I've actually lost contact with these people a little afterward, and I guess it was just a phase. But you know what, hanging out with somebody who's in a bad spot can inform you what if that person goes over the edge and start offing people. That's a great horror idea. You have your villain simply by meeting people, interacting with people. You get the idea of it. And I believe that the reason why there is so much disconnect, not only between fans and critics, which was a huge thing for quite some time, or between fans and creatives. I think there's a disconnect between fans and the entire industry, because the entire entertainment industry probably does not get out of their houses, and they have little interaction with their audience. And that's the same, so don't do the mistake, connect with who you are. And if you can do that, you can connect with other people like you that will probably want to read your book. Just get out of the house, and for fuck's sake, stop using Twitter. So I'd love to hear your opinions. If you think that this video was too controversial for you, I'll understand if you unsubscribe after that. It was a very extreme proposition, getting out of the house. The hell was that? I'm about to go out of the house, alright? See you soon.